Dream Crusher!
Don't believe in aliens, they're never going to land. Don't believe in cryptids that leave footprints in the sand. Don't believe in spirits appearing from the dead. The only demons out there are living in your head. Dream Crusher, the Lord of non-belief. If you can't prove it, no one can get ready for the grave. We all know what that means. He's lurking in the shadows and crushing on your dreams. Dream Crusher, the Lord of non-belief. If you can't prove it, no one can get ready for the grave. We all know what that means.
Hello! Hi, Stevie.
Hi, Kenny. How are you?
Why am I over on this side?
I have taken over your show. I'm so excited. And hello, everyone in the chat. And hello, Donna.
Hello, I'm here behind the scenes.
Yeah, I'm outnumbered here because Donna's totally going to take your side.
I love it.
All right. What are we here for?
We are going to discuss, first and foremost, everyone, this will be spoilers because I have a lot to say and I can't say it without spoiling it. So if you want to see the movie and you don't want spoilers, maybe this one isn't for you right now.
Come back after you see the movie.
Yeah.
Yes, definitely come back because I think you will enjoy it if you're wanting to see the film first. But yeah, we got a lot to talk about.
Yeah. All right. So where do you want to start?
I want to start. I think a good place to start, of course, would be the beginning because the beginning is the most infuriating part of the film for me.
I think we can argue over several points of the film what would be the most annoying or irritating or just all out dumb.
Oh,
So,
for sure. Yeah.
Oh, thank you, Pinky. Super sticker.
Yay!
Yay!
The beginning just like threw me so much. I didn't expect it to be such a big lie. I mean, I knew they were gonna lie. I was prepared for that. I thought I was prepared for that. But I was just like,
set us up.
Yeah, like, okay, so we all know the story of Ed and Lorraine. They became ghost hunters in 1952. Well, they founded their society, the New England Society for Psychic Research, in 1952. Ever since, they've been ghost hunting. So they had a child right away. They got married in 45. And they had a child in 46. So then they became ghost hunters, and that's what we know. A lot of us know that they pawned their child off on the grandparents so they could continue ghost hunting. That was their whole thing. And in the other movies, it's shown them ghost hunting while Judy is a child. So I was immediately thrown off by everything that they were laying out for a timeline in the beginning of this.
Right. Right. Well, like she was pregnant in the first scene.
Yeah,
Lorraine's pregnant,
yeah,
and it's big. The year comes up on screen. It says 1964, and like you, I'm sure I was there like 1964. Wrong.
yep.
That doesn't. No, she's pregnant with who?
Yeah, yeah. And then at first I was kind of thrown because the actress being different. Like I didn't register it was supposed to be a younger Lorraine at first. And it would have made more sense in the 40s. Like it would have made more
Right.
sense to have a much younger actress playing Lorraine if she was having a baby when she was supposed to in the 40s.
Yeah.
So at first I didn't realize like I already heard that they had different actors playing them younger, but it didn't register at first that that was
Okay.
Lorraine because it said 1964 and we have a pregnant woman on screen.
Right. I mean, honestly, I'm right there with you because when it opened and they're talking, I thought the people were just customers. I thought they were sitting down with the owner of the antique shop and that they were customers. And it really until one of them said the other's name,
Yes.
and that's when I was like, oh,
Yep.
oh, this is Ed and Lorraine. Oh,
Yep. I
okay.
was exactly the same. I was like, I was so confused and I was trying to figure out, like you said, are they customers or are they meeting with Ed and Lorraine and that's why she's pregnant? She's going to talk to Lorraine about something, a haunting, and she's
Right.
scared because she's pregnant. Like it was a whole scene I'd already played out in my head before I
Right.
realized they were Ed and Lorraine.
Yeah. And before we move on, just we'll address that question real quick. Let me
Okay.
put the question up. Yeah. Isn't it just a movie? It's supposed to be a true story. So
Oh.
yes, it is supposed to be a true story. It tells you that in the beginning. There is text that comes on the screen.
Yes. I took a picture
Um,
of that actually. I will read it. So, because like I've noticed when I think I remember something, it's not exactly what I
right.
remembered. So,
That's why
oh
it's
shoot,
important to take notes.
yes. So I took a photo and it said, the very first opening screen says, after decades of investigating the supernatural, renowned paranormal. So this was also confusing because we were just in 1964, and it says after decades of investigating, so that threw me a little bit. But it says renowned paranormal investigators Ed and Lorraine Warren had seen every possible case. But in 1986, in the suburbs of Pennsylvania, they would face an evil unlike anything they had ever encountered. This case would devastate their family and bring their career to an end, based on the true story.
Right. Yeah. So I mean, when I see that, I understand this is Hollywood. I that's a given. It's Hollywood. They're going to sensationalize it, but I expect something of the story, like a chunk of the story, to be from
Yeah.
true life. Like something of it, not just the names. Like when a movie like this or a book that says based on true story, and all they really use is the name of the people, that's not based on a true story.
Nope.
That's just using character names.
Not at all.
So I don't
Yeah.
consider it based on a true. So I think they owe me money.
Agreed. Yes. I've always been in the mindset of if it says based on a true story, the only fictional parts should be the parts they don't have information on. The filler parts that, they have to add in to make it make
Right.
sense or whatever, but not change everything but names, like you said.
Yeah. It kind of throws the old saying, truth is stranger than fiction. It throws it in your face and says, no.
Yeah.
Because I mean, I guess when you really look at the overall case, there's really nothing. There's
Hmm.
there's nothing. And I mean, I know you've looked into this, and I've spent the last 3 weeks to a month just deep dive into all this information. I read the book like 4 or 5 times over, plus going through passages over and over again, all the newspaper articles from the time, and it's just like, yeah, they used. I did. I'm jumping ahead.
No, you're fine.
1, 2, 3. 1, 2, and 3. They used 3 things from the book in the movie,
Yeah.
and one of them was like not even the right context. One was, but kind of went by, like it was almost forgotten. 30 seconds later. And then the basement thing was kind of eerie, but again, it was like forgotten. Like at the
Yeah.
scene with the telephone cord.
That was my favorite scary scene. I thought that was amazing.
That
That was
original,
scary. Yeah.
like really cool.
Yeah.
But I'm sitting there going,
Didn't happen.
that didn't happen.
Not never
It's not
once.
mentioned
Yes.
at all. Like
Yep.
that's completely made up for this film. But
Right?
you know,
I was like, this is perfect for an 80s horror film, but
yes,
it has no place here.
yeah, yeah. I mean, that was really neat. I actually like that.
Me too.
As a
I
horror
had that
movie.
in my notes as
Yeah.
one of my pros.
You know, let me ask you this. I had the problem of writing notes and then going to write notes again and realized after the movie I wrote over top of a lot of the stuff because I couldn't see the lines. I couldn't see where I was writing in the theater.
Oh, that's funny.
That's just me.
No, I was doing it on my phone because I was in an empty theater. Luckily, there
Oh,
was only like 4 or 5 other people, and they were way behind me. So I had
mhm.
the backlight down all the way, and I was like trying to type notes and watch at the same time.
Oh, okay, cool.
Mm.
All right. What else we got?
So there was a second opening scene with words I wanted to talk about too. Like we talked about how it said based on a true story. Well, they further that because they continue to talk about the Smurls in a second script over the picture. It says the Smurl family remained in their Chase Street home. Oh wait, never mind. That was wrong. I'm getting ahead of myself. I think that was the end scene. I
Okay.
accidentally mixed it up here.
That's okay. That's all right. Um,
Yeah.
So-
Okay. So I have end scenes that have two to share. Okay.
Okay. It's all right. I mean, my notes are all jumbled too. But then they move. I guess they move to this mirror,
Mhm.
and that I mean, when they do the whole, I mean, it was classic '80s horror again. When both the younger versions, like they both
Yes.
do that, you know. And I was like, all right. I was kind of hoping something would just bust through the door, you know.
That would've
but,
been fun.
You know, it was a letdown.
Yeah, so I kept thinking over and over how much potential the movie had.
Right.
And they
Right.
just dropped the ball so many times. And the writing was not good.
Okay. Good. Because there were several points in the film where I was expecting something like,
Mhm.
all right, this is a very
Yeah.
long pause. Something should happen, but then the scene just changed. It went
Yeah.
to like the next day or something. I'm like, why did you linger on this scene when there was nothing?
Yes.
And then other times the jump scares came at just weird places. And I mean, honestly, this is a big spoiler. I think pretty much every jump scare was in the trailer.
Yeah. A lot of
Because I
people are
don't
saying
remember.
that.
Yeah, I didn't see anything new.
Mhm.
I every time it jumped up, I was like, oh, all right, this scene I remember.
Yep.
Okay. All right,
Yep.
where's okay.
Yeah,
Anyway.
and sometimes when the trailer does it in context in the movie, it is a little scarier, but it wasn't this time.
Yeah. Yeah, it was very, and I think this is probably a bias on me because every time I watch horror movies, I find them very predictable anymore. Like I don't I enjoy a very smart one. Like a very smart horror movie where they screw with your head.
Yes.
You know, it's a mind game. I love those. A
Me
very
too.
good psychological thriller mixed with demons and stuff like that.
Yes.
Really awesome. But when it
Yes.
comes to this, just filling it with jump scares, it's kind of predictable. You
Yeah, and
kinda
when
see
the
it coming.
writing doesn't make up for it.
Right. You know, yeah, and it wasn't. The writing was. It really feels like the writing was inspired by somebody that just bites off of other people.
Yeah, it did. And it also felt like it felt like two different stories that they were trying to shove together and it just wasn't like fitting. I felt like when I was younger and I would watch TV with my grandparents and they would, to avoid commercials, they would flip back and forth between two different shows. You're only getting half of each one and you're so
Yes.
frustrated. That's how I felt the whole time.
Yeah, I agree.
I hate when they do that.
It was. I mean, I think I was halfway through the movie and I was like, I'm watching two different films here. This
Yes.
is not one film building together. It was literally two different stories. And then they tried to like Marvel movie shoehorn both films into one with
Yeah.
a very kind of let down, predictable ending.
Yeah, it was so lazy.
Yeah, it was very lazy writing. I mean, it was very lazy writing.
Yeah, I saw so many opportunities where I was like, if they had just done this instead, or like instead of cutting off the scene there, just further that scene a little bit more, and then it might have tied into where flipped
Right,
us to next.
right. Yeah, and I agree. Some of the people in the chat were like, "It's just bad editing," and it was. You when you watch a film, when you watch videos, and I think some of us have done it, where we watch our own videos and we're like, "All right, that went on too long. I'm going to cut that short because it gets to the story quicker.
Yeah.
It gets through the your narrative quicker, and it keeps the pace going."
Yeah, the
But
flow.
this is like I'm waiting, waiting. That's it. Nothing.
Yeah.
Next day.
Yep.
All right.
Again, whiplash with the different subject changes.
Oh man. All right. What else you got?
Okay, so let's see. I was so I was a little frustrated with how they introduced the Smurls and were like on the verge of getting to know them, and then we flip back to the Warrens and stuff, and then it's the what was it, Ed's birthday party?
Oh yeah, his birthday party with the barbecue
Yeah,
and
I was
the
frustrated with the tone change
yeah,
because we were on the verge of like getting into this family story, and then we're flipped back to, oh, happy go lucky, it's Ed's birthday, we're having a barbecue, we have nothing to do with this family, we don't even know what's going on,
right.
100 miles away or whatever.
Yeah. Yeah, it was just such a erratic and misplaced scene change.
Yes.
It shouldn't have been like that. It took me completely out of the story because you're right. Like they were just starting to get into the Smurl family, and that's what I wanted. I wanted because the fucking movie is supposed to be about them,
Yes.
and that's what I was waiting for. And I was like, all right, cool. All right, we're gonna learn about the family. Great. Why am I at a barbecue?
Yeah.
What happened here?
Yeah.
And then the guy who was the character at the bar, the grill. I
That
could
was, oh
not
my gosh, I
stand
forgot
him.
about him. So that's the cop from the first Conjuring with the parents. Remember when Carolyn Perrin got possessed and she attacked him?
Oh my god!
They were
All
like
right.
doing all these throwbacks to the other movies.
Wow.
Yeah. And because I obsess over the movies, because I have this, I just want them to be better. So I watch them over and over again, and I kind of just like rewrite them in my head every time I watch them. So like I
I mean,
remembered or I recognized some of those moments. Like he
okay.
was saying how they were like what was it? Tony said, "Have you ever seen an exorcism?" And he goes, "Have I?" or whatever, and he like
And
points
he
at his
just
cheek. Yeah.
yeah.
It was just so odd.
I I like the first movie. The first one I thought was good. The second one was not as good, and then the third I thought was terrible. I didn't
Yeah.
like the third one at all. And
Yeah, agreed.
I mean, for me, this one, I'm sure we're gonna get into it, but it was just all over the place. It took me
Mhm.
out of the film, and I really tried. I knew I was for everyone watching. Yes, I had my notebook. I was taking notes for later, but I was trying to enjoy it as a horror film, and
Yep.
for me, I couldn't do that.
Mhm. Yeah.
All
Oh,
right.
I wanted to say something else about the beginning. I was a little stressed about the lack of I don't know, care for the audience. That scene where Lorraine has this might be triggering for some people. I'm going to talk about the birth of
Yeah.
Lorraine's daughter Judy in the movie. She is born a stillborn, and they show Lorraine crying and saying, "Give me my baby." So they give her the baby, and she holds the baby, and she and Ed pray together, "Please bring her back."
Right.
She comes back. Um, m- it hurt my heart for the audience members
Mm-hmm.
because I know women. My mom has lost a baby, and I have
Right.
seen her say, if I just held him, maybe he would have come back, because she's seen stuff like that on TV. And to see that in the movie, like, I don't know, it hurt my heart for audience members that didn't know it was coming.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That would bother me. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Donna's here too, everyone.
I'm
Just in
off to the
case.
side.
But yeah, I agree. I thought like I found that triggering on two accounts. Like one, yeah, how many people in the audience have either experienced that themselves or like their mother, because of a sibling was stillborn, and that there was no need for that because that didn't
Agreed.
happen.
Yeah.
And second, I didn't like.
It wasn't even true?
Nope.
No, it wasn't true.
Oh, that was ridiculous. Then they
It's-
should have
it's-
never put
it's
that in there.
shitty.
No.
Yep.
It's really shitty that they did that.
Mhm.
And then second, they totally copied from Marvel and made her the Conjuring universe Jesus. Because
Yeah.
what the hell? Like,
Basically, yeah.
this ain't, because this is the first time in the film that she does it. So she brings the baby back. There's no, and
So that's
I
the
wanna
way
say,
they played it? Like she brought the baby back.
they give her the baby. She's holding the baby. She's just crying
And
and
praying
So
and
Okay.
begging,
bring this
yeah.
one back. Please bring her back. Bring her back. And she starts crying.
Okay.
Mhm.
But what really pissed me off, because I also have a background in medical. I was an EMT, and like you don't see that. They wouldn't just say, "Oh well."
Yeah.
They'd be working on that baby,
hmm
and it angered me that they brought such a sensitive subject in that wasn't true in a based on a true story movie.
hmm
They made her out to be a Jesus-like figure bringing people back to life twice.
Yeah.
And then they totally take away from the doctors and medical staff that would have worked on that child
Yeah.
to bring her back to life.
Mhm.
So horrible scene all around.
Agreed. And it also tries to like pull on the heartstrings of the audience for the Warrens because we
Yeah.
all know, like, if you are a Warrens fan, even if you still like the Warrens, you know their history and they're not that great. So
Right.
it felt like a cheap grab at sympathy for them.
Right. Yeah. All right.
All right, next subject. Oh, so I
We're,
have so
we're like
much to
only in the
say.
first 10 minutes of the movie.
Yeah, I know. So, another thing I thought was really weird. So I just watched your video and how you discussed all the different name changes over time in the
Yeah.
books, in the movies, in the new movie and everything. So there's one name change that I particularly noticed in this new Conjuring movie. Why did they change Annabelle's last name?
Oh, yeah.
In the lecture, he says Annabelle Mullins.
Yes.
I was like, why? Why are we doing that? Like, everybody knows it's Annabelle Higgins. What? That is such a weird name to decide to change.
Yeah. I understand that like some publishers do that, especially if a publisher takes over from a previous company. Sometimes they'll change the names. I think it's ridiculous. I mean, they make new plates so that they can publish the new book, the new version of the book. So when they're in there, they're like, hey, let's just change these names and we can distance ourselves. But they keep the main characters, the Smurls, and well, not all the Smurls because they changed the daughter's name, one of the daughter's names in the books.
Yes, yes.
But then they keep the Warren family, well, Ed and Lorraine, and then McKinnell. McKinnell?
Chris.
Who's Chris? Yeah. They keep his name the same, which I thought was kind of funny. I mean, because you read the book and it's like he's part of a team with several other people. The other people, their names change, their professions change. Like one goes from a marketing executive to a data analyst. And then another one is a police officer, but he changes townships between it. And then in both versions, you have Chris, who is their grandson.
Yep.
And I thought that was so funny. It was almost like, bringing up the rear. Like,
And
yeah,
it also,
we got him.
it kind of felt like he demanded his real name be used, almost, just from what I know of him right now.
Right. And
He's really trying hard to
mhm.
be a part of it. And he's right this time. He was in the book.
Yeah, he was in the book, and apparently he was there.
Mhm.
And I mean, if I don't get along with him, but
Same.
I mean, hey, if he was there, he should get credit.
Mhm.
Like that's
Yeah.
fair. That's
Yeah.
totally fair.
I agree. Okay, my next point. So we move on and we have that scene. So this was at the barbecue still where Tony brings up, or it's brought up that Tony used to be a cop. And that that I thought was very interesting that they even decided to use that in the movie, considering that is something you can look up about Tony.
Right. Yeah.
So he says in the movie, Judy introduces him to to Father Gordon, who is her. She grew up with him. She says, "This is my father," which I thought was also really weird. But like, I
I'm
get it,
not
he's a
touching that
father,
one.
but like, wouldn't you say this is my priest or my pastor or?
Yes.
I,
Something like this is the pastor of our church, or this is
yeah,
father something. Yeah, father.
yeah, it was a
Yeah, you
weird,
wouldn't say
weird
this is
writing.
my father.
But then she says, or he says, "What do you do, son?" And she says, "Tony used to be a cop." Like, she's all bubbly and proud of it. And then he turns all sullen and he's like, "Yeah, I'm in between jobs right now," or whatever. And the priest says, "Well, aren't you a little young to retire?" And Tony's response is, "Well, it's a long story." And I thought, oh God, what are they going to say? Because I know this story.
Right.
I was like, they're
Right.
definitely not going to say what really happened. So here's
That
a
was a
big,
predictable part
yeah,
too. Like you
yeah,
knew, you know,
exactly.
it's going to come up.
It's
So
it's gonna turn into this thing, and it did. It became. I recognized it as a like a trying to link him to like to be in the same like spaces as Ed. Like, so Ed has the
yeah.
story of being saved by a miraculous miracle in the shipping accident. Like, he
Right.
said the fire parted, he was able to get to safety, and after it was all dire, like, he has a couple different ways he tells that story.
Yeah.
So it comes
Wait,
up.
what? Different versions? What?
Yeah,
I'm
exactly.
surprised.
It's
Sorry,
so hard
I
to
didn't
keep
mean
up
to.
with. But
Yeah.
yeah, so again, now we have Tony with his different versions. But yeah, Tony tells the story differently too. He talks about how Ed only had a couple days on leave and he had to hurry up and marry Lorraine, and now I think I know why he said that. I did the math on the pregnancy.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
that made sense
Okay.
to me a little more after that. But yeah,
Okay.
so Tony comes back on screen to finally explain himself. This is later in the movie. I don't remember exactly where, but he says he's having this moment with Ed, like this bonding moment.
Right.
And Ed wants to know why he's not a cop anymore. And so he tells him that he got called to a domestic violence call. And when he knocked on the door flies open and he's met face to face with the barrel of a shotgun. And he says he hears a click and the gun doesn't go off, of course. And this is his big epiphany that there are bigger things he needs to be doing. He doesn't want to be a cop anymore. He goes out the very next day and buys Judy's ring. He's going to propose to her and live his life with her. So it felt like they were trying to buddy up Ed and Tony and make them like one in the same. So he's
Right.
worthy to carry on the legacy. That's how I took that.
Like this is a fictional event,
Mhm.
but I also know people that have been in that situation. We have friends that are cops, and we know that there's been dangerous situation. So I'm not making light of this, but I wanna stress, like, that's to have that experience is one thing, but to have the experience on a character and have them quit the job, buy an engagement ring, and then go to ask his future fiance's father for permission to marry him. Like, that's not a good scenario.
Mm-mm.
Like, hey, instead of going to therapy or counseling to overcome this, tragic event, because that would definitely cause some PTSD
Yep.
kind of stuff that's going on there. But you don't quit your job and say, oh, I'm between jobs. Hey, can I marry your daughter?
Yeah.
I'd be the same way as Ed's character in the movie. Be like, no,
Yeah, you're not
like
worthy.
you need to get a job and get stable now before I'm going to approve of this. They're going to do what they want to do anyway, but it's still,
Yeah.
it just seemed like, I don't want to use the word silly. It just didn't seem right. It just
It's
seemed
bad
like
writing.
lazy writing.
Just bad writing, yeah.
Yeah.
So the reason it bugged me so much is because it was kind of like purposely painting Tony in this light, this good light. I don't know. I mean, it made him come off as really romantic and whatever. And the truth of the matter is, Tony was a cop, and he did something really bad. I don't want to call it like call him names or anything, but as a policeman, he assaulted a teenager, and was suspended from his job for 45 days. And there was a whole thing about it. There was like a court case over it. Tony ended up like winning. I'm not sure like how he won. It doesn't explain it in the paper, but there's all these newspaper articles I have about it. And he ended up trying to sue the town for his court fees for all this stuff he went through after he assaulted a teenager.
Wow. Yeah. So not I mean, yeah, and you sent me the newspaper articles, so I have them all here. And that's why I like working with you. I like working in the backgrounds with you and working on this projects, because like I am all about the documentation. Like, find the records, find the newspaper articles, find the original sources, and like you got them. Like, we've been trading sources and documents over the last couple of weeks back and forth, and it's great. So props to you.
Yes,
You do
I
good
agree.
work on this.
Thank you. Same to you. I love being able to do this. I've been thinking the last couple weeks how cool it is to sit down and like share something with you, and then you give something back to me, and we're like, oh, this is so cool on both ends.
Right. It's
I
nice
love
being
that.
to work with people like that. That's awesome. So,
Yes.
all right, keep going.
Okay. My next hang up was so we've now got Tony has confessed he wants to propose, kind of fudges it a little bit, proposes, now they're engaged. Now we move on to the scene where Judy is trying on her wedding dress and she has something happen to her. And I did forget to mention another spoiler. This is just going to be full of spoilers. In the beginning, there's a scene of Lorraine and Judy as a child. And Judy comes running to Lorraine crying because she's seen something scary. And Lorraine does this silly rhyme with her to try and take her mind off it and help her kind of like combat these things she's seeing. So basically, they're saying that Judy is psychic and she inherited it from Lorraine, and Lorraine taught her how to deal with it. So we're at Judy's dress fitting, and she is in a small mirror room, like they have in wedding shops where it's mirrors all the way around.
It's in the trailer.
Yes, that's right.
Yeah.
And so I get really bothered by this scene because she is. This is where we learn she is still having like she's having visions that are scaring her. It's kind of like introduced here, and or at the dinner somewhere. So we're starting to learn that she is being plagued by something, and she gets in that small dressing room with all the mirrors, and she starts having the panic attack, and she's yelling, and she thinks that the dress lady's under her dress, but it's some creature or something that's like there and freaking her out, and she starts screaming, and then the creature comes out, the mirror breaks. It's this chaos, right?
Yeah.
My hang up was Lorraine is supposed to be psychic. I was so angry. I was like, where is her mother? Why does she not know this is happening?
Where's Psychic Prime? Where
We're
is she?
in the movie. She can be this psychic. Why is she not?
Right. She sees stuff all over the place from miles away and all that, but her daughter,
her own flesh and blood,
yes, is now suffering a few feet away, and she has no idea.
Yeah, and the same thing at the dinner. She only notices because Judy's repeating the rhyme to herself.
Right.
And I was like, why didn't she notice she was scared? Why didn't she feel that? Like, psychics talk about all the time how they feel other people's feelings.
Yeah, well,
especially if you're a mother and daughter.
Yeah, you don't even have to be psychic to have those intuitions.
Yeah.
I mean, you look at people. I mean, if you just look at someone that is suddenly having some kind of fear, you can usually tell the facial expressions, the quick breathing. It's like Billy having a day off. Yeah, off day, definitely. I mean, but you can tell. But yeah, it was just flip flop. Again, I think it goes back to the writing. They didn't take this into account.
Yeah.
And it makes the superpower a plot device. That's convenient. It's there sometimes when they need it, and it's not there other times when they want to make a scene more dramatic for someone else. Yeah. So, yeah. Horrible.
And then that also ties into a real world psychic's response when they get it wrong. Oh, well, I can't always get it right because sometimes I'm not feeling it that way, or spirit's not talking to me like those crazy psychics say. Right. I actually read in the paper that when Ed started doing this, he was doing it by himself, and he was meeting with mediums. And one of the mediums that was interviewed with Ed in the paper talking about a seance they'd done, the medium actually said, if she gets it wrong, it's not her fault. It's the spirits giving her wrong information.
Wow.
I
Wow.
thought
Pass
that
the
was
buck.
so funny.
Pass the buck. You know, like it's not my fault. It's the
Yeah.
spirit. They're
I only
screwing
say
with
what they
me.
tell me.
You know, that'll still be $49.95.
Exactly, yeah. Even though I got it wrong.
Yeah.
I don't know
All
if you've
right.
seen it or not yet, but Florio just did a really long video debunking Tracy Caputo,
Oh,
the Long
Caputo.
Island
Oh, Caputo.
Medium.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was good. That
Hair.
was, yeah. Her coverage of that was so good. Like, I learned so much. I loved that.
Yeah. Cool.
Okay, so back to the mirror.
Oh,
Um,
so the
so
mirror, we didn't explain the mirror.
no, we didn't because I haven't
Oh,
got that
go
far.
ahead. I'm sorry. It's all
No,
right.
no, no,
It's all
no.
right.
I could like I have so much to say. Like I have been saying all week, I just want to burst because of all the thoughts and feelings I was having. But yeah, the mirror, we learn about it in the beginning, and then we don't see it again until the first our kind of introduction with the Smurls. It's like our second scene with the Smurls because they're celebrating after the communion.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
in the original story, they have their first incident with the light fixture before
Right.
the communion as they're getting ready. So in
Right.
the movie it's after. And before that happens, there is the grandparents give her a present. It's her communion and they give her a present and a cake. And the present is this mirror that we saw in the beginning with Ed and Lorraine that cracks that they see the demon in and all of the scary stuff.
Right.
So immediately you know that's going to be the tie-in, and the mirror is going to be the conduit,
Right. Yeah.
the catalyst.
That's driving the plot right there.
Yes,
That is everything.
and it felt so forced.
Yeah.
It wasn't a natural scene of like a family. Like the children didn't act well in response. Like there was the feeling was off, the writing was off. They didn't, it felt so strange. Like you
Right.
kind of understood the teenage girl didn't like it, but then the grandparents are being weird because they thought she would like it. Like it was so weird and forced.
Yeah. And I want to give credit to the actors of the family because they were actually pretty good.
Hmm.
I really did enjoy them. I think they were just robbed of
Yes,
their scenes because they were edited in such a way that you really didn't honestly, and we're jumping ahead a little bit. I forgot they were in the movie. At
yeah,
one point, it goes back to them, and I was like, "Oh, yeah,
yep, yep.
this is not the Smurls."
I felt the same.
Totally forgot they were in the movie. Okay, but they were regulated to a like not even secondary characters. They were more
Like
like
supporting, like
yeah,
they were underneath the Warrens trying to give like some, I don't know, flavor to the story.
you had the Ed and Lorraine, Judy and Tony like vying. Like first it was Ed and Lorraine, and then you slowly saw that they were passing the torch. So they took over top spot, and then
Mhm.
you had everybody else.
Yeah, they were like
Right,
kind of wedged in the middle awkwardly.
right, right. And I really felt. I mean, I'm again, and I said this in my video. Like, I don't think the house was haunted at all. I think a lot of the stuff was mundane experiences that were misinterpreted later
I think
on. But I feel bad for the family
I
that is
do.
now
Yeah.
represented like this.
Hmm.
Because I'll say this, and we can say this again later. Even though this is just a movie, it again says that it's based on a true story, and you're going to have the bulk of the audience thinking this is basically what happened.
Yep.
Like even if it's a movie, it's a movie, great, sensationalized. It's a little spookier than or scarier than it should have been. But in the minds of the audience, they're going to see this and think that's how the story went,
Yep.
and that's why we're talking about this. This is why we're
Yes.
focusing on this so much.
Yes. And
Because
then also on top of that, you'll have all these content creators who won't read the original book, who won't read the newspaper, and who won't watch that first movie. They will only base their research on the new movie. And now we have new stories and new misinformation, and it's all even more confusing than before.
right, you're going to have AI generated videos
Yes.
coming up, like quoting the movie or
Hmm.
events that happened in the movie that never occurred. And I mean, again, go back and when you read the book and then look at the interviews the interviews with the family,
Yes.
those stories don't always line up.
Yep.
So lots of embellishment.
Yes.
Right.
And the movie had an opportunity to continue it as it was. It didn't need to be changed so much.
Right.
Like people loved the story. People were so excited to see the story. And I said in my little quick review directly after watching it, when I had to spew all that stuff I had to say, I felt instantly so bad for the Smurls because
Right.
they were sitting in the audience upon seeing this for the first time thinking, this is a story about my family. I get to sit with my family and watch our lives on the big screen, and then it gets hijacked by the Warrens and the Spears.
Yeah.
I was like,
Sad.
I felt really bad. And I know Karen is like, she made a comment, that Karen Smurl, she said, we love the horror movies. We love the Conjuring franchise. We've been big fans, but we were kind of like blindsided by this.
Yeah. Yeah. That's a shame.
Yeah.
It could have been so much better.
It really could have.
Hmm,
So much
oh well.
potential in some of those scenes. I was getting so excited and then just let down.
Yeah. All right. Moving on.
Okay. Oh, another big thing that really bugged me. They kept saying the Warrens had quit. And I
Yeah.
was like, they just like 5 years earlier they had the devil in the courtroom or the devil on trial or the devil made me do it. There's so many
Yeah. The
titles
devil
now.
made me do it. Yeah.
Yeah. I was like, they were mad in the media for that. They did all these
Right.
shows and stuff for that. They weren't done ghost hunting. And they just
Yeah.
make it seem like one, it's Ed's heart, which they kind of built up in the last movie. And then secondly, they kind of they kind of make it confusing. At least for me, it was kind of confusing that it seemed like they quit because of Judy, because of what happened to her when she was
Right.
born.
Right. So that means 20 years passed.
Yeah.
If they quit because of that, then yeah, 20 years would have passed. And it's just that didn't happen. We know that
Nope.
didn't happen. And it's weird. It's just the timeline is just weird. And again, it goes back to the bad writing.
Yeah.
It doesn't. I know they tried to keep the continuity of the franchise,
Mm-hmm.
but I think they really messed up with this film.
They did. There were so many things that were unnecessary.
Yeah.
They could have continued the continuity of their story that they had developed without all this nonsense.
Yeah. Yeah. All right.
Okay, that also reminds me that I think during the lecture, maybe, or there's at one point, Ed is asked how many cases they've done. It's 1986. He says about 1,000. So as I've been reading the newspaper, going through as far back as I can going forward, I have seen them say so many different numbers. And in 1974, they said over 2,000 cases. So I thought that was funny.
Wow. So, I mean, yeah, like one of the things I like doing with this when people give me numbers like that, I like to look up and just figure if you do one investigation a week, okay, that's going to the house and recording whatever you need to, or spending hours there. If you do one a week, 1,000 investigations would take you 19.2 years to do. And it gets worse from there. I mean, now you're talking like almost 40 years if you're talking 2,000 cases. And this is something I brought up earlier. If they are investigating, like, are they actually investigating or just phoning it in?
Yeah.
Which is what they usually did. They showed
Yep.
up, they interviewed, they looked around, they gave themselves time to be alone so they could make up stories about themselves having experiences, and then they left. And then the family would just call, and they would have phone calls back and forth. So that's not investigating what's going on at the house.
No.
It's lazy.
No, and it's not being there for the family like these families have said in the past. That the Warrens were
Right.
there for us. They stayed with us for weeks.
Yeah. Yeah. That's weird.
That is weird.
Oh,
Every
let's
time I
look at
hear
the
or
house.
read that, I think
Yeah.
they were in their house that time. Like every time I read about Ed being in someone's house, he's always going after their food. He's always wanting to know what's in the fridge, or he always wants a sandwich. It cracks me up.
Oh man, I'm not touching that one. That'll lead into being a mean Kenny, and I don't want to be mean.
Aw, I like Mean Kitty.
Just wait.
Okay, I'll move on before you get mean.
Okay.
So I also found it interesting that a few times throughout the movie, and then again at the end, they talk about they need to get around to writing their book.
Yeah.
I was like, which book? The 3 you've written already, or
Yeah. Like we know that they wrote books before that. So
yeah,
that's kind of silly. And
it
it's like
is.
you said, it's a silly it's a silly thing that they included in the storyline that just makes no sense. And any
Mhm.
fans of the Warrens should also recognize like that doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
Like, why?
And any fans of the Warrens also know that the very first movie they made was allegedly pulled from directly from their case files from their
Right.
book, The Demonologist.
Yeah. Yeah. Which is the story about Annabelle and how it's not haunted.
Oh my god, that reminds me, Annabelle.
Annabelle makes a kaiju appearance.
I could not believe it. I was so frustrated. The only thing I liked about it was that is probably one of the one things that was true about Judy. She has said publicly in interviews that she was terrified of the doll.
Yeah. And that's cool. Lots of people are. But the way they went into like that felt like it was forced.
It did.
The entire Annabelle inclusion was forced into the film.
Mm-hmm.
And granted, if they took at one point Annabelle was like 15 feet tall or something
Yeah.
like that and crawling
Yeah.
down the hallway, like any other movie, that would have been good.
Yeah.
Especially if we're talking an 80s style movie. Like that's golden. That's classic 80s.
Yep.
But it just, yeah, the gigantic.
It did not fit.
It was odd.
Yeah. I understood what they were trying to do, but it was so forced. Like you said, it was so
Yeah.
it was almost like they were just trying to keep Annabelle relevant.
Yeah. You know, like the first time when she shows up like with the rocking chair. There's a scene with the rocking chair, and it's I think Judy turns around and looks, and there's something with darkness, and then like you see the face come into the light a little bit, and back and forth. Like, as soon as the screen went dark, I'm like, "This don't be Annabelle. Don't be Annabelle. Don't, oh, there's Annabelle."
Yeah.
So it has nothing to do with the story.
No,
all.
it has nothing to. I mean, so far we have the mirror that has nothing to do with the story. We have Annabelle that has nothing to do with the story. We have Judy and Tony that have nothing to do with the story.
Yep.
And yeah, there's other things, but
yeah. So basically, the only true things so far are the names, the light falling from the ceiling, even though it fell at the wrong time.
Yeah.
And then Judy's afraid of dolls, or Annabelle.
Wow.
Yeah. That's about it. Okay. Moving on.
So, oh yeah, the other thing that, I had so many moments where I was confused. I felt so confused. And another one of those moments was the duplex situation. They show a duplex, but everybody lives on one side. There was a whole storyline about both sides experiencing things.
I gotta give them credit. I think they spent money on the giant Annabelle doll effect, and they also spent money on what the front of the house and the Smurl van looks like.
Yes.
Because that was spot on. I have photos from 1986 of the house because we had two investigators go down and took pictures of the house, and it looks spot on, except for the tree. There was a big ass tree in the front.
Okay.
Like there was you come down the steps, there was a sidewalk, and then there was a huge tree that actually started coming over the roof. That's not there in the film.
Okay.
Because that explains a lot of the footsteps, I think.
I was going to say that is the squirrel's home.
Yeah. They nailed that. The Smurl van, they nailed because that was a typical 70s van with brown colors, and it said Smurl Mobile on the front, which I'm kind of upset you didn't see them in it, but nailed it. But when they walked in, first they walked in the wrong side. So when you're looking at the house from the street, 328 is on the right.
Okay.
And that's where John and Mary lived, Jack's
Yes.
parents. And 330 was on the left side. So they kept going in the right side. But when they went in, they would turn and go right through to like a big living room and then the kitchen. Because like when you see the scene where the girls are running around
Yeah.
and everything, they're running around the entire house. That is not a duplex. A duplex is a big
Like
block.
2 halves of a house.
Yes, it is cut right down the middle. There is a wall, usually a firewall that goes right down the middle, and it's 2 separate houses. It's not one big house like that. So, yeah, that was kind of like, because I did the same thing. I was like, wait a minute.
We wanted
Yeah,
to
when
do
you
that
put
to
it in your
ours.
post, I was like, yes, that was the other one.
Remember?
Yeah, we thought about it. We lived in a duplex. But, well, in Philly, we call it a twin.
Yeah,
But
twins.
we wanted to do that because when our neighbors were moving and they put the house up for sale, we considered it like, let's buy it and then just knock the wall down.
Make it one big house.
Yeah, that'll be a nice front bedroom. Holy shit, but we ended up not doing it because we came up here. But it's still, I mean, it's a minor detail,
Yeah.
but
It's so significant, but it bugged me.
it bugged me, yeah, because you're supposed to, because Jack's parents had claimed to have experiences on their side.
Yes.
And I mean, one was like the headless and tailless dog that the mother-in-law witnessed. Like that story, it was probably a raccoon or something like that. But it would have made really good scene. It would have
I
been a really
agree.
cool scene.
Yeah. Like it would. There's so many things that we know to be separated by the duplex division
Right.
would have made great, like, jump scares, suspense moments. Yeah.
Yeah. And it also helped alleviate any explanations for things like knocking or banging, because now you don't have bedrooms that are butted up against each other.
Yeah.
Or just, yeah, anything like that. You don't have that opportunity for someone on the other side of the house to bang into a wall or play pranks, because now it's all open.
Yep.
So, yeah, it bugged me too. You're not alone.
So minor, but so annoying.
Yeah. It's the little things, that piss us off.
Yes. Let's see. What else did I have on here?
I have the phone cord. Yeah, go ahead.
So we've been mostly on learning about Judy and Tony and all of that going on. We've seen a little bit of the Smurl family, and then all of a sudden we have Father Gordon, who is Judy's father, is at the Smurl's house, and that confused me.
Yeah, because he showed up, and he says that he showed up on his own.
Yes.
Nobody called him.
Because he'd been following their story in the media.
Right. Which is not. That's not. Now, Gordon, he's a fictional character.
Yes.
Yes, because I noticed that when he went to whatever church back in Connecticut, I think, where he's from, he asked for the other priest.
McKenna, yeah.
McKenna, yeah. So he asked for him as a superior. So I was like, all right, this is a fictional character. This is not someone that was really there.
Yep.
So yeah, him showing up out of the blue because he's following the story, that annoyed me too, because it was just like, this doesn't track. It doesn't track with the original story or the book.
Right.
So you're stretching. Now I found that again to be lazy writing, because like he just decided to drive from Connecticut to West Pittston, Pennsylvania. That's not an easy drive, just because he's following it in the news. And it wasn't announced in the news.
Yeah, that's another thing. Yeah.
Go ahead.
It wasn't even a story yet that anyone knew until the Warrens became involved.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a conversation between Jack Smurl and Ed Warren about going public. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, and
So-
I thought that was interesting too, how in the book, in the older film, I don't know if they did it in the film, but they definitely do in the book, where they're almost trying to discourage the Smurls by telling them how bad it could go, like the ridicule, the media, all of that. But I know damn well that they encouraged it, not tried to discourage it.
Yeah, that's total bullshit. And I mean, we've seen that through interviews and radio programs and anything. Anytime Ed has a chance to get in front of a TV camera or a microphone,
Mm-hmm.
dude, he's all over it. Flies on shit.
Yep.
Right there. So
Yep. And he was also he was sued by the Goodens for making those long distance calls to media.
oh my god. Oh, I remember those days. Yeah, the rate
Yep,
to a
it's
certain time
expensive. They
to
wanted him to
call.
pay.
Oh yeah.
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 Yeah. Oh my god. Whew. All right.
Okay, what else do I have here?
I did hate. I know I'm backtracking here, but the phone incident with the phone cord going into the
Yes.
pantry, again, awesome scene, but it was completely forgotten.
Mhm.
Like they cut to a different scene to the Warrens, and it was just done.
Yep.
And I'm sorry if you are in a kitchen, like a big ass kitchen that they had, which they didn't have that big of a kitchen.
Yeah.
All right, but you're in that kitchen. You have a pantry that's pretty big. First of all, it wouldn't be as dark as it was in the movie. No way.
Yeah. I
Lots of
noticed
ambient
that.
light you're going to see in there. Two, you just watched your phone cord. And for the kids that are watching, we used to have corded phones, big spiral thing. We used to
Big
play.
long cords.
Yeah. We used to whip each other with it. And
Yes.
so
Wrap yourself up in it.
yeah. And it was funny when you're like, you pull the cord on your sibling and wait it until it stretched really tight and they yell at you and you let
Yep.
go and bam,
Yep.
hit them in the face. So this is pulled into the pantry that we can't see into. And she's yelling at the kids, staring at it. And then the kids come running, from the front door because, there's only one door inside. Unless you go outside, then there's two. But then she looks at the pantry. She's like, what? And then it drops and she goes in and turns the light. There's nothing in there. That would freak me the fuck out.
Yeah. And
Like,
then for them to just in the scene, like that was such a letdown.
Yeah.
We were
there was
so
nothing.
primed and we were like, oh my God, it's getting good. And then
It just killed it. It killed
Yeah.
the flow of the story.
it did.
All right. I'm sorry. Keep going.
No, you're totally fine. I actually had that next in my notes because I put it in the
Oh,
wrong
good.
spot. So you saying it was really funny.
Mhm.
But no, that was my favorite scene. It was good. It had
It was really
so
good.
much potential.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, another thing I wrote down here. Did you recognize the basement?
I did not.
It's the same basement they used in the first one.
No way.
It is
Oh.
the same basement. The way the stairs come down and the platform. It looks exactly the same to me. I need to rewatch and double check. But as soon as I saw it, I was like, "Are we in the parents' house?"
Right. And that basement, no way. First of all, no, was not that big. I've been to the house. I haven't been inside, but I've stood outside. I actually walked up and knocked on the door to see if I could talk to somebody, but nobody answered. But house is not that big. I've been in houses like that. That basement, half the size what they show you on the film. But yeah, the I have that here. I have it where I was like, all right, she's hearing kind of her name, and she's looking into the corner, and it's very dark in the corner.
That was done pretty well.
That was done good.
Yeah.
And it was I was expecting something to happen, or at least see a little bit movement. Like I didn't see any movement. I don't know if there was. I didn't see anything.
There was like a figure for a brief second.
Okay. That's I wasn't sure. Like it's really dark.
Yeah.
And she's staring at it. Okay, great. And but yeah, it was a good suspenseful scene.
Yeah.
And it kind of that should set the tone,
Yes, it was
with
like
the
a
phone
builder
cord.
scene.
And that should set the scene where you should see immediately her talking to her husband going, this is how something's going on. Call the priest right now.
Yes, and then it should have also shown like simultaneously. My favorite thing about when you have a family haunting and you're putting it in a movie, you have each family member or set of family members having their separate experiences at the same time.
Right.
So you should have had like her talking to her husband and then Dawn and Heather talking about what Dawn experienced because Dawn was said to have experienced things. So why didn't we have that? Dawn's all mean and nasty and then she comes to her dad saying, "You don't know what's happening to me." Well, neither do we. What's happening to you?
Right. Right. We don't know what's going on. We
Yeah.
don't get that story building. And I for the movie characters, the movie family of the Smurls, I had no connection with them. I
Mhm.
didn't feel anything for them. I was honestly rooting for the axe wielding demon thing
That
to
was
just
fun.
like wipe out everyone.
Yeah.
Just take out everyone because I want this movie to end. And because it was really bad. Uh,
Yeah, I was getting so frustrated that we weren't getting the chance to connect with the family. I was really wanting to get to know the teenage daughters more. I was wanting to hear what they were experiencing because we all know in every haunting story with a teenager, it starts there. It
right,
revolves around them. Why didn't we get more of that? That would have been
right.
great for the movie.
I know, and that's I'm surprised because that was something that I did look into, and Ed tried to. Well, the interview that you see in the trailer when Lorraine is sitting with the Jack and Janet Smurl,
Ye-
one of the questions she asks is, "Has anyone played with Ouija boards or black magic or witchcraft or this and that seances?" And they say no. So I'm like, oh, all right. Well, they can't pin it on the family. So that's when they go into the previous owners and blame a previous owner. And
Yeah.
Ed's quoted in some newspapers saying that. And I'm surprised they didn't go that route, but
Yeah.
they went a different one with a murder.
It's really, yeah, the murder thing. Yeah. It's really
Yeah.
interesting what they did choose to lie about.
Yeah. Yeah. It was almost as if the person writing it didn't know the story.
Yeah, exactly. They
Yeah.
didn't actually do any research.
But I like that Eric Vitale, he put that up there saying that, yeah, the grandmother got taken away because of the fall down the stairs. And then, yeah, we don't see them ever again. They're just gone.
Yep.
So that's kind of sad. Like, and they were just they were extras. They weren't even like background or supporting characters. They were just
Yeah,
extras.
they really
Um,
were. We had
yeah,
no chance to get to know any of them.
right. And that's bad. Like that takes me out of a movie when the people that are supposed to be the main characters, you don't get to feel them. You don't connect with them.
Yep.
And it was just like, okay, like you're right. I totally forgot about the grandmother being taken away until you just said
Yeah,
that.
I
So
didn't
I
think
read
about
that,
it either. I
you know?
forgot. Like the grandma has experiences. That wasn't one of her experiences. It's like
Right.
uh,
And even like the twins, the 7-year-old twins, like you don't I think it was Shannon, right? Wasn't it Shannon in the film? There was only one twin that
Karen.
was Karen. Okay, it was Karen.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, they did because there was Karen had the doll when she asked Judy, "Do you like
Yes.
dolls?"
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you don't see much of the twins interacting much. Um, and yeah, the parents like Jack Smurl, honestly, he comes off like an ass.
Yeah,
I really didn't like his character at
I
all.
didn't either. He wasn't. He felt separate from the family.
Yeah. And that's a shame because the interviews he gave, he was pretty mild.
Yeah.
He was not like a what they
He
portrayed
was
him in the film. He was
Yeah, he's
pretty
very
mild.
chill and like
Yeah.
personable.
Yeah. So,
Yeah, he was a
all
weird character for sure. So I only have one more thing I wanted to bring up about the movie. It gets just so chaotic from there that I didn't really grasp onto any one thing. I did think it was kind of funny how Tony got in the middle of it and got so hurt and looked so
right.
like I just kept waiting for the mirror to just choke him to death.
All right. So before we move on to that, like I did, there was more with the priest, the Gordon priest,
Oh yeah,
where he
yeah.
has his own vision kind of
Mhm.
thing, and then he, I don't know what you're supposed to say anymore, unalives himself with a
Yeah,
rope.
yeah.
That was completely fictional and made up, and I get it. It's a horror scene. They're trying to go dark
Mhm.
with this. I'm assuming. I'm assuming that they were trying to make a darker story and show how serious this thing is, but it was completely unnecessary.
Yeah.
There
It
was,
did fit in it.
yeah, it
The
almost felt
only
like,
thing, like the only tie-in was the fact that the very first scene when we see this shop, the antique shop owner's dad do the same thing.
yeah, yeah. It just felt like it was forced. It was another
Yeah.
forced event. It was like, hey, we have this character, let's tie it in with the previous movies, and then we can give him a story arc by killing him off.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And let's just do it. And it was, I found it ridiculous and a little like over the top.
Mm-hmm. And I saw in some comments, people were trying to figure it out, and they were arguing. I saw some people arguing in comments saying, why did the priest do that? And then someone said, oh, because the mirror made him, because apparently the mirror made the man in the beginning do it. So the mirror made the priest do it. And I was like, when did the priest encounter the mirror?
He didn't. Well, he was in the house.
Yeah.
So
there's a stretch a little bit.
We learn later that the mirror is in the attic, hiding.
Yeah. And like the mirror itself being a character. Right. I keep forgetting it's even a character.
Like it teleported.
Yeah.
it went, because we see it get destroyed.
Yes.
That's
and then we see it retaliate against one of the girls for being destroyed.
Right. And so the girls decide they don't like it, and because it's ugly. Because I mean,
they're teenage girls and it's an antique.
I'm not a teenage girl, but I would say that's ugly.
Yeah.
I would take it now. I would definitely take it now.
Right, as an adult, same. But I know for a fact, as a teenage girl, I would have looked at that and thought, ew, old.
Right. So they get rid of it. They take it down late at night. They carry it out to the trash. It goes into the trash compactor. Star Wars reference. And then it gets crushed. We see it get crushed and broken off. But then magically, like Marvel Jesus, it comes back. Yep. And it's all fine and dandy, and it's in the attic.
Yep. And then the whole scene with Dawn. It's Dawn. Yeah, Dawn choking right after or right as it's being crushed in the truck. She starts choking, and then there are shards of the mirror that she vomits out into the sink.
Yeah.
I was like, what?
All right, that's more horror film. If it would have focused more on the mirror, if it would just gone full on and said, you know what, this is going to be in the whole movie. Not it's in the beginning, it disappears, and then we see it briefly, it goes away, and then at the end it's there again.
Yeah,
go ahead.
No, I was say we don't even get resolution on Dawn. Like she projectile vomits blood, has shards of glass in her throat, and then everything's fine.
Yeah, it's okay.
And Judy shows up. It's fine.
Yeah, it's okay. It's all right. No big deal. All right. What else do I have? I have I think I have some wrapping up notes, summary, and stuff like that. But fucking Annabelle. That's funny. Oh, the axe wielding thing.
The scary creature thing.
There's kind of you see this almost, what was it? I just saw advertisement for a movie like The Black Phone.
Mm-hmm. Yep, same guy.
And I thought it was the same guy, like the same creature in there. I was like, is that from the same movie?
Yeah, it's also reminiscent of the Insidious monster.
Yes, and that just comes out of nowhere because Dawn or Heather, one of them.
Heather,
I think
it's Heather. She's watching that video.
Okay, she's watching the videotape of the birthday party and blowing out the candle because there was a whole thing about somebody blew out the candle and everything. She's watching it over and over again, and then realizes there's a face next to her.
Yep.
And it's this creature's face, and there it is. It's suddenly there, and it chases her. And I was like, all right, where'd this guy come from? I have no idea who this guy is. And then we're told later by Lorraine that she gets these visions about there was a murder on the farmland. It was all farmland, which is not right.
They never lived in this house, she said.
That's all coal mining region there, but it was farmland. And then he didn't live there, but he went after his wife and killed his wife and this and that, and like it's completely made up. It's not. I know I'm saying made up, and I know it's a movie, so most of the shit's made up. But it was like
it wasn't part of the story.
They pulled it out of their ass.
Yes. Yes.
just out of nowhere, and then
And
they're trying to
what's
make up for it.
Yeah, and what's weird is when I saw that, I immediately thought of when I spoke to you about how I had heard the interview with Karen and she was talking about how she knew there to be a murder in the home, a domestic dispute that turned into a murder. And so when
Right.
I saw the axe wielding guy, I thought, is that what they're doing? Are they pulling, is that like one of the true things they're going to throw in? Because at one point that was discussed. That's where I went with that, but that's the only explanation I had.
Right. And I mean, as for like any kind of domestic violence and stuff, there are no police reports, at least from like 1988 back, which should have been filed. I mean, if there was what they're blaming for the haunting would have taken place before 1986 when they were there. So I know for a fact that there were no police reports for either 330 or 328 Chase Street. There's no stories, there's no newspaper articles, there's nothing about any kind of domestic violence or abuse or someone being killed at those locations at all.
Yeah,
So I don't know where that story came from.
me either.
I
I
can
think maybe
imagine
Lorraine,
probably. I mean,
because the
that's
family
something.
believed it. And
Yeah,
Lorraine always came in with her research, quote unquote.
yeah, yeah. We know how the good that is.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So wrapping up, what do you got?
So we're going to go back to the mirror
Okay.
and how it became the thing that is the problem. Apparently, there was a demon trapped in it and they fixed it or whatever. But my biggest problem with this movie is the end credit scene, the post credit scene.
Yes.
I always stay because I always hope for one. I think post credit scenes are so fun. So
I
I
love
sat there and I waited. And when I saw it, I wanted to scream.
it.
It said, let me read you what it says.
I can let me see. I know
Do you have the picture?
I have a picture of it. I can put it up on screen as soon as I find it here. Wait, there it is. Okay. This is so weird.
It made me so mad. And I'll explain why it made me mad, because I guess on first glance you'd be like, why does that make you mad?
There you go.
All right,
All
yeah.
right.
So it says the real mirror currently resides at the Warren's Occult Museum. It was used in practice intended to conjure the dead through reflection. Now, this is a very broad statement. There is nothing in this statement that says the mirror is part of the Smurl family. But the fact that it doesn't say the mirror is part of the Smurl
Right.
family really pissed me off,
And
because there's implication here.
so yeah, that's the next scene.
Yep. Yeah,
Yeah.
it says it is commonly referred to as the Conjuring mirror,
Yeah.
which was intended to tie all the movies together. The first movie was called The Conjuring because, well, Andrew Perrin says it was called The Conjuring because of something they had said during a visit, and then other people say it's called The Conjuring because of the Conjuring mirror. So, like, Ed apparently said something about the Conjuring mirror during, I can't remember what I read, but that's why they decided to call The Conjuring. But Andrew Perrin says they decided to because of her family's conversation. So I'm
Yeah.
not really sure. Yeah.
I don't trust anything Andrea
No,
Perrin says.
no, definitely not. But
Yeah.
the reason it bothers me so very much is because when Elton and Matt bought the Warrens house that came with all the items under their lease agreement, they actually made a point to point the mirror out in the live, made comments about it, talked about the movie coming out, talked about the place being open to start booking on the 5th of September when the movie comes out. All this stuff around the mirror in the movie. And then now we have the mirror in the movie. Now anybody who sees the movie is going to think, "Oh my god, I can go to the Warren's house and see the movie that the mirror that was in the Smurl case."
Right.
And they're
Right.
going to pay for that. And I'm like, that's a lie. That's not even the truth of the mirror.
Yeah.
And I noticed that, so they've done a couple videos at the Warren's house since the purchase. They've had their friends come that have big channels, and they've done all these videos and these interviews with the Nesper people. They interviewed one of the Nesper members, Rick Clark, I think is his name, and
Okay.
he tells some really bizarre, elaborate strange additional things to these stories when he's going through the museum with Elton. And he actually says the correct story when Elton interviews him and talks about how the mirror, Ed tells him that the mirror came from a man in New Jersey who used it to try and conjure the dead or whatever and ended up going insane and is in asylum or went to an asylum. So he tells the truth. But later in that same video, Elton says, come see the mirror from the Conjuring movie. And that's it.
Yeah. Yeah, to tie it in and get people to watch. And again, this is why we're doing stuff like this, because once again, people are going to go see that movie and they're going to take away, this is the story that happened, somewhat dramatized, but this is basically the story. The mirror had something to do with it. And hey, it's on display. I'm going to go to the house where it's on display and see it. And people are going to talk about it. And I guarantee you're going to find a year from now, you're going to see social media posts with people taking pictures with it going, look, the Smurl mirror. This is the mirror from the Smurl haunting, and it's cursed and stuff like that. We're not allowed to touch it and all that. So it's the general public is not good at research. That's what it comes down to.
They don't feel the need to, which is fine, but it's the producer of the product's job to make sure they're not toying with the audience. I mean, making them look stupid, making fools of them.
And then the idea of saying based on a true story, which it did. I mean, it does state that. And when you say that again, it's going back to the beginning. You should have some elements of truth in that story and build upon it. You know, if they think this case was the one that ended it all, then show us the fucking case.
Exactly. Yes.
Don't show us a completely different story because it undermines what you're trying to promote.
Yes.
And
they
again,
undermine their stuff all the time.
Yeah.
Like, their research, of course, was none, like nil. They didn't do the research. And another thing that really bugs me about the mirror is, if you are a person who is into these things, into like witchcraft, conjuring, calling spirits, whatever, all of that, if you're into that and you are educated on it and like the lore behind, well, I would call it lore, but their rules that they have for it, those mirrors should be covered all the time.
Yeah.
They aren't supposed to be just open for anyone to look in if they're that dangerous. If they've been used for such things, they're supposed to be covered.
And certainly not put on display for a $49.95 ticket.
Yeah, for people to come and look in it with the idea that it's haunted. Like,
that's what Baggins would do.
Something I saw today. Somebody posted pictures of them. It's their reflection, in that mirror, because it was leaning against. It was probably the same place you sent me pictures of, because it was just leaning up against a table, and people were taking pictures with it. So it can't be that scary.
Yep. Yeah, because it was on tour with Annabelle the first few rounds, and then it was in Maine, and I had a fan of the show go and send me pictures of it, and they actually have a plaque up with it in Maine right now that says the right story. Well, Ed's original story.
Ed's story, yeah.
I'm curious when that will change, because I know it will.
Yeah, it'll evolve as people show up. The old placard will go away, and it will be a new story saying somehow it was tied with the Smurls, or the story's going to be twisted. And I mean, that's what I'm expecting.
If they want it, I already wrote it for him. They can say that the mirror is haunted because of where it came from originally, which was in the movie, the antique store, and the fact that the Smurls bought it from the antique store. They bought it haunted already, so they can still use their old story and then add the Smurls to it.
Maybe, and I'm going to go old school here, so I don't know if you're going to pick up the reference, but maybe they bought it from the antique store from the Friday the 13th series, TV series, back in the 90s.
Eric will know this. If Eric's in the chat still, he'll know this.
That series had nothing to do with Jason Voorhees, anything. It was about an antique shop that had cursed items that sold a whole bunch of them. And then it was basically, did you ever see Warehouse 13?
No, I've heard of it though. I've heard of it.
All right. So it's basically all these items have been sold, and then an old guy, because there's always an old guy, has to collect them back. So he gets two young, hot-looking people to chase down these cursed objects and bring them back. Which is
Amazing.
basically years later, Warehouse 13 did the same exact thing, except they updated the whole concept. But yeah, I mean, this is what it sounds like.
That's
you know?
what Ed.
Yeah.
Ed so Ed kind of does the opposite. He goes to the antique stores and buys the haunted
Right.
items and tags the stories on them.
Antique stores. I mean, I'm thinking more like Goodwill.
So
Stuff like that.
I recently saw something that apparently back in the 70s or 80s, there was an advertisement. I think it was on TV. I'm having a brain fart. I'll have to find the picture. Someone said, I think it might have been Eric even that sent me the picture. But it was like an ad saying that beware of haunted objects coming from antique stores. And it was like just for the general public to see. It wasn't put out by a ghost hunter or anything. It was like on a news scroll or something.
Wow. I mean, I love going to antique stores, and I'm
Me too.
constantly picking
Yeah.
things up and yeah, bringing them home because I like strays. Bring them home, and Donna's like, "Oh my god,
More shit.
Did you also know? So that reminds me. So doing the little mini episodes I do where I read out the paper about the Warrens, I found that I just had a brain fart.
Oh,
I hate when my idea just leaves my head completely. What was it? What were we just talking about?
antiques."
Oh
Going to
yeah, antique stores. Yeah.
first
and-
Oh, that's what it was. Okay. So I have this idea that Ed kind of built his empire, his plan, his story based on things he would see in his life. And one of those things I think he may have come across was there was a Reader's Digest call out, like an ad in a Reader's Digest calling out for haunted stories, and they would pay for them. I
Ooh,
think maybe Ed saw that
Mm,
and got ideas.
wow,
that would make sense.
that's interesting.
Yeah.
That's so. I can do a little aside story here. Is that the famous Ghostbusters case, not the movie, but the case in New York, where a house was legally declared haunted by the
Yes.
court, was based on the evidence that the seller of the house at the time, because she was trying to sell the house and the buyer got out of the contract, but the seller had heard stories about the house from the local kids. She wrote them down and sent them in to Reader's Digest, which I have an original copy out here in the lobby of the stories about her house. And the buyer that was on their contract used that to say, this is known to be haunted. Therefore, my wife said no.
Wow.
And they were able to get out of the contract because it was declared legally haunted by stories. Not that it was really haunted, but
Yeah.
the stories.
But it was publicized.
It was publicized prior to that. So, and it was in a publication that
Yeah,
was
so it was like a
out-
record of
out.
it.
Right. So yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah.
That's
So
cool.
I actually heard about that right after I found that little Reader's Digest thing. I was listening to another friend of mine's show and she covered that story with that woman and how it's like the only declared haunted house or whatever.
Okay. Yeah, it's a cool. We were up there. We
That's so
stopped by
cool.
the house. We didn't get to go in, but we did see the house. It's nice, and got a picture in front of it because
Of course.
had to.
Yeah.
Yeah, had to. It's famous. So, all right. So let me see. I want to point out too that there's we talked about the kitchen light coming down. That was one scene from the book, and the original interviews. We talked about the basement scene, which was also in the original interviews and in the book, although highly sensationalized in the book version. And then the last thing that actually calls back to the actual story was about the dog, their German Shepherd, that according to the report from the book, doesn't actually appear in interviews that I could find, except when reporters mention it. But this is also after the book came out. So according to the book, Janet is in the kitchen. She's doing the dishes, and she noticed that the dog, which was curled up on the floor, either to the side or behind her, doesn't actually say, but she said that she saw this German Shepherd get lifted up and then tossed into the kitchen door. And it got hurt, and she ran over, which I would have done too. And but this is used in the story in the movie, but in a different way, because by this time it's at the end. Judy is possessed by a demon because
chaos.
of course, and she's the demon possessed Judy. I want to make that clear. Is the one that the dog comes up to her and is barking at her, and she does like a head flick, and the thing comes up and slams into the wall. And that's what we see. So I'm guessing these 3 items: the kitchen light, which is like a second, like 2 seconds of film time.
Yeah.
The whispering in the basement, and then the dog getting flicked. That's their based on true story.
Yep.
I guess footage.
And all the things they could have left out. The dog, really?
Judy.
It's hurt my heart. Like, I forgot all about it. Right. And I blocked it out immediately after.
I mean,
at least it was heavy on the CGI.
I went into the new Superman movie with the attitude of, I'm going to enjoy this. I'm a big Superman fan. But if anyone fucks with Krypto, I'm walking out. If they kill off that dog, I'm out of here, and I'm never coming back. Because you don't mess with the dog.
Yeah, seriously. Like, you're gonna change the whole thing anyway. Why did you have to do that?
Yeah.
Like, that people don't like seeing that. I don't know anyone who likes seeing that.
Yeah.
Biggest fans of horror films all around. Nobody likes seeing the animal get hurt.
Right. Right. People,
yeah, exactly. Do it all day to the people.
Yeah. But not the dog. Leave the dog alone.
Yes.
So,
and I thought people were mad that they made it a golden retriever too instead of the German Shepherd.
Yeah, instead of the German Shepherd. I mean, honestly, you put so much work into the exterior of the house.
The details.
Make the dog a German Shepherd. How hard is that?
Yeah.
It really could have benefited from a little bit of detail like that. I'm just checking my notes and making sure that I got everything. The axe wielding thing, we talked about that. When they talk about the mirror, one of them, Ed and Lorraine, says it found us. Like they made it as in like they
never forgot
it. All about them.
Yeah.
It was all about them.
Oh,
it was their demon, and it had and that's when the Smurls just went away. Like they were just totally in the background as extras.
Yep.
I also thought it was funny when there was a point where Judy leaves. She gets called to the Smurls, and she leaves on her own. And then Ed and Lorraine follow, and they show up. And there's like a barricade. There's people outside the house. There's cops, and Ed and Lorraine just walk up.
Yeah, I know. I thought that too. I was like, they don't even know who these people are right now.
Right. They walk past the police. Nobody stops them. Nobody questions them. I was like, you're not that famous, dude. Nope. Like, you still would have to be stopped and asked, like, who the hell are you? Yeah. So, all right. So I think I'm done. I don't have any other notes.
Just for you,
Kenny. I don't either, but I did have one more thing I wanted to share with you. So I watched your video today and I loved it. It was amazing. But something happened in it that made me feel so proud as a researcher. You had Jason Hawes on, and you wanted to talk to him about the plumbing situation and the welding, the plumbing. Remember, that's a thing in the original Smurl story. They do their own plumbing. They suffer all these leaks, all these things that are going wrong, and they think it's paranormal because it's one thing after another breaking and going wrong. And like you point out, they did their own work. They, did their own remodeling, that kind of thing. One of them was a welder, did their own plumbing. And when I was reading that in the book, my boyfriend's actually a welder, so I thought he'll have some insight for me. Like, I can go ask him about some things and he'll help me better understand the plumbing situation maybe.
Right.
So I go and I ask him, I was like, in your professional opinion as a welder, do you think you could do the plumbing in your house as a welder? Like, say it's the 80s, you're doing your own plumbing. Is that something you would be comfortable doing? And he doesn't like plumbing anyway. And he's like, well, it depends, like what pipes you're using, what you're planning, like what are you doing? What's the whole thing? So that got me thinking, how did they do the pipes? Like, I didn't know you could weld pipes like that. I didn't know how it worked. But I did know that you had to do it a specific way with water. So then I thought about like I was a tattoo artist at one time, a long time ago, and I was taught by an old school artist. And part of my training was I had to build my own needles onto needle bars, and I had to do soldering. And I thought soldering and welding are two different things. And then you had Jason on, and he talked about how they are two different things and you need the flux. And I was like, oh my God, I felt so smart and I was so proud and I wanted to share it with you.
That's awesome. I mean, yeah, it's. I don't do plumbing at all. I've seen it done. I just don't touch it. And I mean, I checked. I made sure when I talked to Jason. It was funny. I was thinking like, whenever I get a chance to get someone in that's an expert, it's so much better. It has more of an impact because it's not me just telling you. And even if I reference it, like I always try to reference clips and newspapers and stuff, but if I have an expert, it's more impact.
Yes,
So
agreed.
he's the first one that came to mind. And when I asked him about it, he's like, yeah, sure. What kind of pipes? And we looked it up. We made sure he looked it up. He's like, all right, 1980s, 1970, actually 1980s,
Yeah.
1974 is when they did the renovations. But I also looked in the book, and the book specifically says copper tubing.
Yes.
So I was like, all right, this is
Mostly
what the
everything
book
was
says.
copper back then.
Yeah, they're all over the place. So,
Mhm.
but yeah, he went through the whole explanation for it, and I mean, I've had experience in welding. I'm not great. I did it for automotive, so I pretty much just let's fuse these two pieces of metal together,
Yep.
and not using flux to have the piping suck it in, so it seals it around, so it makes a good seal. And I can see that happening. This is a guy that's an experienced welder, yeah, but he was not a plumber.
Yep.
And
Right.
I can see that happening, and it's a very amateurish job when you bring in Jack. And I'm not being insulting. I want to make sure that I make that clear. The guy, we have no record of him having any kind of skills like that. So his profession was something completely different. He did not do welding or like blue collar labor like that. So that's why I think like the water pipes, the renovation of the bathroom upstairs, the install the light fixture in the kitchen, which the bathroom was literally on top of that kitchen. So if the water pipes leaked again, you have all kinds of problems.
Yes.
And it's
It would
something
not
that
be out of
happens.
the question for a big heavy light like that to fall.
Right. And I don't even know, like, we're talking the 70s, so it probably was heavy. And I can imagine it because in the original interview, they talk about eye hooks and chains. The book says it was bolted into the beam. So that's a difference. And I'm going to go with the original interview rather than the book version.
Mm-hmm.
So if it's just a couple chains and eye hooks, like I said in the video, like I don't know if it was only a few threads of that eye hook was actually in the beam. And if that's the case, over years, little water damage, little here, like it just finally gave way. And
if they're walking up there regularly and moving the floorboards and the water damage over, it's a recipe for an accident.
So, and I mean, the only picture that we have is after the fact, after everything is already fixed. So, and that was one of my big gripes with the original story itself. There is no physical evidence to look at.
Yep.
Ed claims that he had videotapes.
Yeah. Lorraine said she had audio of knocking.
Yeah. Yep. Well, I mean, to be honest, like audio tapes of knocking.
Nothing. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But they never even show it. Like they're constantly saying, we have all this evidence. We have it on tape. We have it on camera. But
and they don't give it. They don't give it up. And the reporters at the time asked for it. They challenged for it. It's in the newspapers that I cited that they asked for it. And Ed was Ed and said, you're not getting it. You got everything I'm going to give you. That's it.
Yeah.
And made excuses about, the church has to see it first, which they didn't work with the church. They worked with their own priest who was a rogue priest.
Yeah.
I want to make that clear. Their priest was excommunicated from the Catholic Church. He couldn't do any of it. He wasn't allowed to do anything.
What was it? Vatican II? Is that what it was?
The Vatican II, the council that happened. I got it in my notes, but since the Vatican II, he didn't like the changes that were being made, and I think I read specifically because the changes in the mass, how mass was said,
I think I remember that too. Yeah.
he didn't like that. So him and a couple other people broke off. They formed their own church, and then he was excommunicated from the church. So he was a rogue priest, and they weren't working with the diocese in the area because they were doing an investigation. And to give them credit, they were taking their time. They were looking into it. They were consulting experts. They went to the house, didn't find anything. So they were doing a good job. Ed was doing everything for the TV cameras, and brought his own priest to do 3 exorcisms that didn't fucking work.
Yeah.
So good job there.
Yeah, and that family didn't even get resolution. Apparently it kept happening after they moved, even according to them,
Yeah, that goes up and down,
Yeah, I don't particularly believe, of course, in their haunting, especially after all the research, but I believe that the family thinks they dealt with something because of how religious they were. Like you mentioned that, Flurio's mentioned that. And
Yeah.
also you have Ed the Catholic pushing these things down their throats too, so they're probably thinking he's validating anything they may be fearing.
Right. And I think, you're right. It's the interpretation, because weird things can happen in a house, and if you don't approach it with a critical eye, it can seem quirky and strange and maybe even a little scary.
Mhm.
And if you talk to other people and they start encouraging you to that maybe it's haunted, if
Yep.
you go that direction, it becomes scarier and scarier. So then
Yes.
you reach out to somebody. Unfortunately, they reached out to the wrong people who not only took their story, but interpreted it in ways that were just outlandish.
Yeah.
They made it worse.
Yeah.
And I can see this religious family relying on someone they thought was an authority,
Yep.
and saying, okay, like I hear bouncing noises on the ceiling, on the roof, and instead of thinking squirrels or going up there or watching like the neighbors did,
Yeah.
Lorraine's telling her, no, it's a demon.
Yeah.
It's a demon going down the hallway.
Yeah.
So they were influenced. I think they were taken advantage of
Yes.
and exploited. So,
And the way the Warrens are so matter of fact, they don't leave room for questioning or interpreting. It's what they say is what it is.
yeah. And then no science. Like we tried. I brought that up in the video. We
Yep.
sent people down there. We had a magician and a physicist, and they got permission to go in. And then once they got there, Ed blocked their way and
Yep.
said no.
Yep.
And that tells me everything I need to know about
Yes.
Ed in
Yes.
that moment. So
That
the movie
photo
was
of that
good.
moment.
yeah. All right. So we got to wrap this up because I think Donna wants to go home.
Yes.
like
Like I said, I
wanna
couldn't
go home.
talk forever. I saw the hour come and go, and I was like, we're just having so much fun. I'm sorry, Tina.
It's all good.
I mean, you guys can hang out if you want.
You're gonna go home. You're like, I'm just gonna leave.
There's a few things starred.
All right. You all right with going through them real quick?
If
Whatever
you
you
want to,
started.
some of them, we can hit them.
We can look. You all right with some questions?
Absolutely, yeah. I'd be
Okay.
up for
All
that
right,
for
we're
sure.
not taking any more.
We're not taking any
Get
more
this
questions.
clear. If they're not starred,
Don't
they're
get
not
me in
going
trouble.
in.
Isn't it the same actors that play Ed and Lorraine in the previous? Yeah.
Yeah, Patrick Wilson and Vera Farmiga. Except for the beginning, of course.
Yeah. I mean, I like those actors,
Mhm.
and I feel jaded. Like
Same.
I want to not like them for taking on these roles and
Yep.
making
Well-
these people look so much different than what they were.
Yes, without doing their own research on it and making sure they supported their role. And also, you saw what Vera did, right?
Yeah.
That was so annoying. That made me so mad.
All right. Next question. At Truth or Demons, aren't the remaining Smurls angry they wasted their time talking to them not to use what they said happened in the duplex?
Yes, that is true from what I can see of Karen Smurl's public post on Facebook. It was public. It is no longer. I think she got a little bit of like a little bit overwhelmed by the response she got, so she made
Right.
it friends only. But yeah, she did state that they loved the movies as far as like movies. They are fans of the Conjuring franchise or whatever. But she said she didn't understand why they spent so much time and effort talking to them and making sure, quote unquote, that they had it right only to do that.
Right. Yeah. It's just, I'd be pissed too. I mean, if somebody came to me and we set up meetings and I scheduled time, hours and hours of talking to them and detailing what happened or what I think happened, only to see that film and see it just trashed, I'd be pissed off.
Same. Yep.
Yeah. All right. Can't be at all. Both of us. Why did they make it about Judy and Tony as well?
I have my theories.
This might go into the next question. Here.
What's the next question? Are Tony and Judy going to be warned?
So you know about the TV show, right?
Yeah.
I think that's where we're going. I think that's why. I think that they fully intended to build this next generation idea because Tony now owns the museum. We all know that he's the current operator owner of the artifacts, even though he's leased them away right now. But like he has been in charge. He has been pushing the tour, the Paracons. Before he was shut down with the museum, he had people in there all the time. Like I really think that was the goal. And I don't know if it was the original goal, like when Lorraine was alive and she was consulting and dealing with the movies and stuff. I don't know if that was in the plans then, but I do feel like Tony heavily influenced the current status of it.
Yeah. Yeah. And
because they're in the movie too.
They're in the movie. They are thanked in the credits. They get the special thanks to both of them for doing it. I think I'm speculating. I want to make that clear. I'm speculating here that there was several revisions to the script where it was about the Smurls, and then somebody had influence and started bitching and said, no, it should be about us. And since it's from the viewpoint of the Warrens and not from the viewpoint of the Smurls, then it changed and it directed on to that. And then, of course, as you said, the tie-in with the TV series. So I'm waiting for a synopsis of the TV series to come out so we can read about it and, see Tony and Judy take on these cases.
If only they were really those great people in the movie.
Anyway. So yeah, that's about it. All right, everyone. Thank you.
Yes, thank you.
Now it's your show, damn it!
Thank you, everybody, for coming to this very fun spoiler live. I loved it. Thank you, Kenny, for joining me to talk about this. I was so looking forward to this, and I had so much fun.
Awesome. See, all right, I'm gonna hit the end stream. Everyone, thank you, appreciate it. Don't go anywhere because when it's over, we'll chat a little bit. But I'll see everyone. No show tomorrow night, everyone. This was the substitute tonight.
Yeah.
So no show tomorrow night. No show
or
next week.
Yeah.
We'll be away.
So we'll see you in a little bit.
So when we do come back, we're gonna have Cree Storm on for a discussion. We're gonna have just a friendly discussion about our different viewpoints and stuff. So should be interesting to say the least. So everyone else, see you later. Never stop learning. Bye bye.
Hey diddle diddle, here's a little riddle. Who's the best at bunker? Is it Kenny Biddle? Oh, he's good, not just a little. Not at the bottom or even the middle. Strike a chord like a fiddle. Tasting the rainbow like a skittle. That's fragile and brittle. You can watch him take a problem and start to riddle the problem away. He does not play. He takes his job so seriously. He loves a challenge and won't turn you away. It's such a skeptic, he keeps stones. Believers just exposing the fake. It wouldn't take him long to find a needle in hay. Use a magnet, damn it. Now take a drink of Kenny's specialty. Some may say that's not for me. To each their own, what really it will be. Man, Kenny's such a skeptic, drinking skeptical tea. Like and subscribe, everybody turn notifications on. And go watch his show and forget about this song. Mr. Wizard or Bill Nye the Science Guy. Can you remember? You like any better, so head to the skeptical health bar and meet the bartender. Pick up a drink and relax, cause nobody does this better. Not even close, not even a little. He's the one and only Kenny Bill.